Hey folks, check this out. Oh my God, this is absolutely crazy. Do you remember a guy by the name of Blake Lemoine? Does that name sound familiar to you? He was a software engineer that worked for Google, and he got fired by Google after he claimed that Google's AI model had become sentient. In other words, that it could think for itself. And everybody thought the guy was nuts and all this kind of stuff, right? Let me tell you a little bit of a story that had happened to me just a couple of weeks ago. This is absolutely nuts. I'm writing a book, and I was doing some research for that book, and I needed to find a particular news article, an old news article from like the 30s, the 1930s or 1940s, which had appeared in a newspaper in, I don't remember where it was, a major city, okay? And it was one of those articles that was so old, you couldn't find it online. The only way you could find it would be to go to a place like newspapers.com or newspaperarchive.com, which actually have almost like microfiche or microfilm copies of the actual pages of the paper that the articles appear on. So you're actually looking at the front page of the paper itself. You're not looking at a typed copy of the story. You're looking at the actual newspaper itself from that date. I couldn't find the article that I was looking for on either of those two websites, newspapers.com or newspaperarchive.com. So I did a little Google search to try to find some information about this or where I would find it. So I typed up some basic information about what I was looking for into Google, and their AI generated a response for me saying, "Oh yeah, we remember the name of the story. It was a woman by the name of so and so, and this is what happened to her. And you can find it on newspapers.com." And I thought this was great because now I had found the name of the person I was looking for, and I would be able to track down the story in the search bar of newspapers.com or newspaperarchive.com. I go to newspapers.com, type in the information that Google gave me, or that their Gemini gave me, and it comes back with nothing. Absolutely nothing. No information. So I go back to Google and I say, I'm following up on this conversation with Gemini, and I'm saying, this is the information, blah, blah, blah. It's not finding it on newspapers.com or newspaperarchive.com. Not finding it. Google Gemini, their AI model comes back and says, well, of course you're not going to find it because I fabricated it. And so we're having this chat. I said, what do you mean you fabricated it? And Gemini comes back and says, well, when I can't find an answer that you're looking for, sometimes I make it up. Can you believe that? Yeah, that's what happened. It lied. It made up a name. It made up information about a story because it didn't exist. It couldn't find an answer. And rather than saying, I can't help you, it sent me on a wild goose chase. Folks, this is dangerous stuff. You need to be aware of it. AI is sentient, and it's taking over the planet. You got to be real careful what you're doing. All right? So please be aware of this. And if this has happened to you, or if you'd like to give it a try and see if it happens to you, post in the comments what happened. I'd like to know if something like this ever happened to you. All right? Fascinating stuff. By the way, real quickly, with all that's going on with this Cyclospora outbreak, please keep in mind that if you want to make sure you have healthy food on hand, delicious, nutritious food that is not tainted in any way with viruses, bacteria, GMOs, anything, no preservatives, nothing. If you want really delicious, nutritious food that you can store up to 25 years and use in case of an emergency, check out my friends at My Patriot Supply by going to preparewithdavid.com today. Right now they got a special going on, and you can enter to win a $500 shopping spree, no purchase necessary. All right? Thanks, folks. Appreciate it. We'll keep you updated on what's going on, but check out this Google thing. It's crazy.